Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the regular board meeting of the Todd County Board of Commissioners. Today's date is Tuesday, February 1st, 2022. Time is 9 a.m. All commissioners are present, along with the auditor, treasurer, and coordinator. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Any amendments to the agenda?
I have none.
Okay. Having none or hearing none, is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Motion by Kneisel. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Becker. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Consent items.
Today we have the meeting minute approval for January 18th, 2022.
Okay, you've all seen the meeting minutes for the meeting from January 18th. I'd look for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Newman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Becker. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Auditor Treasurer.
First item I have today is the approving commissioner warrants. Background is sent for your review. Recommendation is to approve the commissioner warrants with an ACH and a manual payment totaling in the amount of $125,534.55.
Okay, you've seen the board action for the commissioner warrants for the total of $125,534.55. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Motion by Becker. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Kircher. Discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Kircher?
Yes.
Commissioner Kneisel?
Yes.
Commissioner Newman?
Yes.
Commissioner Erickson?
Yes.
The next item I have is the Health and Human Service Commissioner warrants. Background is sent for your review. Recommendation is to approve the Health and Human Service Commissioner warrants with an ACH and a manual payment totaling in the amount of $212,124.56.
Okay, you've seen the board action to for the Health and Human Services Commissioner warrants totaling $212,124.56. Looking for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Kneisel. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Newman. Discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Commissioner Kneisel?
Yes.
Commissioner Newman?
Yes.
Commissioner Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Kircher?
Yes.
Commissioner Erickson?
Yes.
The next item then would be the Health and Human Service SSIS warrants. Background is sent for review. Recommendation is to approve the Health and Human Service SSIS warrants with an ACH and a regular manual payment totaling in the amount of $38,940.34.
Okay, the board action has been presented for the Health and Human Services SSIS warrants totaling $38,940.34. Looking for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Kircher. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Becker. Discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Kircher?
Yes.
Commissioner Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Kneisel?
Yeah.
Commissioner Newman?
Yes.
Commissioner Erickson?
Yes.
Next item is the Todd County Parks and Trails 2022 appropriation. Background is there was a letter sent requesting their appropriation amount from the Parks and Trails Board. Your options are to approve the funds transfer or do not approve, and the recommendation is to approve the resolution for the 2022 Parks and Trails appropriation fund transfer of $9,000 from Todd County allocated funds to Todd County Parks and Trail Board Fund. And it is a budgeted item, and we do have the resolution attached. And I believe we have their letter that Lee Christopherson sent as Secretary Treasurer.
Okay, you've seen the board action, including the resolution and the letter of request from Todd County Park and Trails for their appropriation. Looking for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Newman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Becker. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. At this time, we'll enter into a joint meeting with the Todd SWCD Supervisor. And I don't need to recess out of this in the meantime, just continue on to that. So if you guys want to come on up to the table there, we'll see if we can muster through this. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dale. You have in front of you the same agenda I would think I do, is that correct? And we'll probably just try to follow along that as best as we can. So I believe it kind of starts out from your side of it to call your side of the meeting to order.
Yep, so we'll call the SWCD Board of Supervisors meeting to order.
You want to pull your mic closer,
Oh.
please?
You want me to repeat that, or did you hear that?
You might have to pull it pretty close.
Being recorded.
Really close?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep,
How's that?
good.
Good? Okay. So just calling the SWCD Board of Supervisors to order.
Okay, and we'll call the Todd County Commissioner meeting to order also.
Then we'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the agenda on the SWCD approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, looking for a motion for the approval of the agenda.
So, second.
Motion by Newman, second by Kneisel. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Presentation.
Okay,
You ready?
we're ready. So first, I just wanted to thank you all once again for bringing us forward and being interested in what we have, to present to you. A lot of counties and SWCDs are actually envious of the support that we have from you. So again, thank you for that. If we go to item number 3, you can see we just pulled a couple things out. I wanted to just check first to make sure, did everybody end up getting a annual report from us?
Electronically.
Yeah, I think we got the electronic side of it.
Okay.
Not a paper one as
I
of,
have a paper one though if you have it.
yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you go pass those out?
My wife doesn't like it if I use all our ink at home.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the picture on the front bleeded out, but it looks nice on your electronic copy at least. So what I did was we pulled out a couple things out of this report. You can see the report's 32 pages long. We'd be here all day. And so we talked with Rod Erickson and the chair, and he said, here's a couple things we'd like you to discuss. So one of them was what kind of projects and the highlights that we have for this year. And if you look in your annual report, pages 12 through I think it's 24, different pictures and different references to our highlighted projects that we have this year. One of our bigger ones would be the Latimer Lake restoration. That was a wonderful opportunity to take a previously drained wetland and restore it back to its water retention holding capacities. And that actually helps clear up any nutrients and excess contaminants that might be reaching the lake, but also provides storage capacity in the time of heavy rainfalls or whatever that whatever event we need it for. If you look up here, you can see the different types of projects, and I have to look closer because my vision isn't what it used to be.
Merging this for you as best I could.
Okay. And so we had the one wetland restoration. We do a variety of well sealings each year. Access control fencing, that's where we've got a couple of those projects where we're keeping cattle out of areas such as Sauk Lake or in wetlands that contribute to the Long Prairie River, that type of thing. The manure pit closures are a big thing right now. These manure pit that we're closing, most of them are right on the banks of the rivers where there's been proven some cross-contamination in groundwater. We have upland erosion diversions and then shoreland erosion controls. We did 2 projects, and we kicked off our cover crop grant. We've got 2. We have lots of interest in it, but we actually got 2 on the ground this year, considering we just got the grant in spring of last year. We thought we did pretty good there. On the right is all the projects that we targeted, and you can see Long Prairie's kind of, that Long Prairie watershed's kind of been avoided somewhat, and that's because the funding is not lining up there. But once that one watershed, one plan kicks off, you'll see a lot more stars up in that area as well.
Deja,
Yes.
I was at the irrigation meeting last week, and East RTO was there talking about the moisture, soil moisture probes.
Yep.
But they said that only East Otter Tail and Wadena counties would qualify for them. Can we qualify for them or not?
Yeah, there's sections of our county too that can qualify for some of those things. There's different tiers that you can kind of see, and you have to commit to one of those tiers to decide whether you get that. But there are some opportunities. I know Central Lakes College ate some of that up for us, but yeah, there's definitely opportunities for you. So if you're interested, let me know or give me a call and we'll kind of work through that process.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. So the next slide is the summary of projects and community economic returns. And as you know, all of our projects not only provide cost share, but it's a portion of the cost share, and then the landowner also contributes as well. This year was a little bit slower year. We're coming off of COVID. We didn't have a lot of structural that we usually have, but we still did pretty well. So as far as cost share dollars going into our local economy, we had $209,634.39. We also did Ag BMP loans worth $228,470. That's just our portion of the loan, doesn't count the landowner contributions. And then the construction projects through the SWCD NRCS. We have one big feedlot project going on right now. It was about $64,435 for this year, and then there'll be more. It's close to $500,000 by the time we get done with it. So the total economic activity through SWCD funding this year was $602,538. Now, keep in mind that that doesn't take into consideration the fuel that goes into these things, restaurants and eating, the transportation that's provided, all the other things that go into a project. If you look on the next slide, here's just a couple samples of the businesses that were impacted this year, our local businesses. So people that are able to contribute and expand their value and their equity that they put into our economy as well. So there's some nice ones there that I'm sure you recognize. Another highlight, of course, is the One Watershed, One Plan that you all have been working on. And right now you can see we have in the Red Eye River, we have $706,000, $706,488 for this first biennium. So every 2 years we get that amount of money for the entire watershed. So keep that in mind. There's several counties involved in that watershed, and that money is available currently. In the Long Prairie River, there's $714,854 going to be available starting this fall. So that's going to be nice. Again, that's shared between basically Morrison, Douglas, and ourselves. And then the Sauk River is $832,550 every 2 years, and that's between Stearns, Pope, Douglas, and ourselves are the key factors or key counties in those areas. So more is coming in the future. The next slide, please. So these are the amounts that are available in each watershed currently in 2022. And the red eye, specifically to Todd County, we have about $16,965 that are available in such examples. This is just examples, are cover crops, tree plantings, anything kind of considered non-structural. So that might be grazing practices, field erosion type things that are like contour strips or things like that. So that is available to our farmers in the red eye. And then there's a $100,000 feedlot fix that's also available. We did have that previously encumbered, but I think we're going to push that off to another year for a farm up in the red eye. For the Crow Wing, right now, they haven't done their One Watershed, One Plan, but we have $225,000 available up there. And that's for pit closures, fencing, waterers, stream crossings, feedlot fix, that type of thing. The Long Prairie, we just kind of talked about that, $714,000 for certain regions and certain practices. And our policy board will confirm what those are this year, and then we'll be able to start in the fall. In the Sauk River, there's $832,550. I think the policy board met yesterday, and I think right now our priority regions for Todd County are Sauk, Guernsey, Juergens, and Little Sauk Lake. They're watersheds, so that means all the area around those watersheds as well. Mississippi Brainerd is just starting to kick off now, so we'll be hearing about the financials that we gain from that probably fall of next year. So one thing that I did want to mention, we don't have to go back to that slide, but I just wanted to bring to your attention that all of you have been heavily participating in the One Watershed, One Plans. The SWCD kind of serves as your capacity for propelling these forward. We're the technical people. We also go and participate in the planning aspects of it. We're at the meetings 99% of the time. Without that, I'm not sure that planning and zoning could handle, these projects, or the county could handle these projects on their own. These are all SWCD, and they follow your water plan, your comprehensive plan. So we are your capacity for that. And so that's a service that sometimes we don't think about. That we wanted to make sure we brought to your attention. With that, we've been working on increasing capacity slowly through the SWCD so that we can assist you in these endeavors. And new staff for 2022, I know Tim Ebnett's not new to any of you, but he is a permanent member now of the Todd SWCD, where he was just grant-based before in that regional, in the regional nutrient management. He decided to join our team in the feedlot department. So not only is he an expert in nutrient management and can help us through those processes, he's now accompanying Dylan on the feedlot work as well. So we kind of really gained some nice assets there. Our new riparian conservationist is Josh Fortruba. He is scheduled to start on the 14th of February. And he is our biggest capacity growth right now, and he will handle all the shoreline type things. And then the wetland soil conservationist, the SWCD, and the liaison from the commissioners have selected a finalist for that. They will be presented, that person will be presented to you for your board approval, hopefully soon. And the last slide, Commissioner Newman, I remember you asked me, where things were at back, I think, in the end of last summer. So I wanted to make sure that we came back and answered your questions. His question was, how many operating dairies remain in Todd County? So the number of registered dairies that are over 50 animal units, so operating, are 219. The licensed dairies, according to Brenda Miller's 2021 statistics, are 145. So we have lost about 60 licensed dairy farms in the last decade or less in Todd County. You can look at the number of other types of farms there, from beef to rodeo bulls, all the way down through. There's about 600 that are 50 animal units and over, and 19 over 300 animal units. It doesn't count the ones in Shoreland. So the registered feedlots in Todd County is 1,418, and that counts the ones that are required by your county ordinance. Any questions on that? Did that answer your question, Commissioner Newman?
Yeah, I believe so, but I'd like to see a map of the county and where the farms, the dairy farms are located,
Yep. Okay.
if I could, please.
Yeah. Locations. I think we can pull that off of the MPCA website. Everything's mapped on there, so
Thank you.
if not, we can do it we also have a mapping system. And last here, examples of internal services to the county. I know you are aware of these, but what's always nice to re-mention is the county landowner assistance and phone services. When the wrong number is called, or if the landowner has a comfort level with SWCD staff. I can't tell you the number of zoning and ordinance kind of questions that get tossed my way because I've worked with that landowner in the past. So those are things that aren't covered by grants or that sort of thing. It's services or time that is direct county services that wouldn't be necessarily things we're doing if we weren't housed in the county buildings. We do site visits for plats and setback issues with the Board of Adjustment, basic surveys at times. We, like, for examples, Greystone, Bergman, Welsh, and Lean were all ones that we contributed to. There were some others as well. We did some conditional use permits this year with Lamb and Middendorf, and that goes above and beyond as far as SWCD conservation projects go. This is above and beyond that that we present there. Ordinance reviews, complaints and violation with planning and zoning that have manure livestock. So sometimes they're not like an issue where they're out of compliance at all. They meet 70-20 rules, but it doesn't meet your ordinance. So we have to respond to that. We do all county feedlot registrations that are required by the ordinance and the tracking. Permit reviews, condition follow-ups. We also are part of Adam's Dirt Team, and we did a lot of work in Lake Chaminade, as you know, Luke Noska, and we provide technical maps whenever necessary. The other thing, again, we'll track back to the one watershed, one plant, future capacity. The reason why I bring this up again is that Bowser has been questioning SWCDs. Do you actually have enough capacity to spend down this much money, this many projects, when you have 5 watersheds? We have 6, but 5 major watersheds in our county. They seem to think we're kidding ourselves that we think that we can handle that with our staff. SWCDs across the state are like that. So we have been trying to think forward. We've tried to develop space in our office, maybe shared services with other counties, but having that position in our county is always an advantage, as we saw with Tim Ebnett and the nutrient management. Staff have started to begin tracking hours in 2022, so I can give you exact hours of county time that we give to you outside of the SWCD. And that pretty much summarizes that. If you have questions, or we'd love to answer them, and thank you for your partnership.
Yep, go ahead.
Hi, Deja. I had the great opportunity of serving on this board for the past 2 years as vice chair and chair. And I don't want to bring up anything negative because you guys do a phenomenal work job. My question is, how are we going to move forward? We continue to intertwine between soil and water and the planning board. I think our space is limited. Office space downstairs is limited. Do you guys have any plans as far as moving forward? Would you like to see in the next year, in the next 5 years, even 10 years? How is this joint effort going to move forward? Are we going to continue to combine it? Are we going to try to stay more separate? And I even see with hiring and exit interviews where some of these questions came up at the same time.
Yeah. And I think Adam can contribute to this this answer too, as well. But we have been heavily looking at first office spacing. That's the big thing. And not this week, next week, and with Chris Pelzer's expertise, we have been able to make some adjustments in the office where it looks like we'll have 2 additional desks open for future expansions. So that'll be happening in about 2 weeks' time. We also been working with trying to work with Chris Pelzer to try to see exactly what you guys have been offering us in a dollar amount. We've never been able to do that. Like, what is the value of us being in your office, and what do we gain from it? We know what we give, but what do we gain from it? And so by doing that, we may potentially be able to increase our local capacity funds. We've never been able to provide Bowser or anybody hey, this is what the county offers, and they tend to, provide to us. They tend to offer more local capacity to counties that offer more. We know you guys offer a lot as far as we've got a place to sit. We've got, all of those things that, you take care of our employees for us, that sort of thing. So increasing that local capacity to be able to increase our availability to have employees, because like we've presented back and forth in the liaison committee, right now we've gone from 51 to 97% where we were paying you back for employees. 2014, we're only at 51%. Now we're at 96, 97 actually, of how much of our employee wages are getting turned back in. So we've been working on increasing that.
I know you guys are doing an excellent job and the work you do is fantastic. I just don't want to see the county planning and zoning be over-absorbed by your growth, if that's a nice way of putting it.
Right.
And so I like to see that balance moving forward.
Right. The hard part, I think, too, and maybe am I understanding it, are you wanting our employees to continue to contribute to that?
I'm just asking, what's the plan moving forward? Because I think we're just kind of moving as you guys do take up more projects, increase your employment in the soil and water and so forth. Where is this moving to? And at what rate are we moving?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that there's any immediate plans to make any changes to the operations. I think the demand for projects necessitates additional staff.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there will always be a distinct line between the soil and water and planning and zoning because of the rule enforcement and things of that nature, so I don't know that there will ever be a point where either side of the office takes over the other, but it's just that the demand on the soil and water side necessitates more staff.
Because I know we even talked some of the hiring where part of it would be planning and zoning, part of it would be soil and water. And that's where I see it more getting closer and closer combined, should we say, or networking together.
Right. And it comes from the demand from the community more. Like if these guys have more of these plats, and then we have to make sure that whatever's getting built is compliant, legal, not going to create problems down the road. And that's where it kind of the crossing occurs. The problem is I'm not sure if you guys need more capacity for your permitting, and that's the issue. That's why we're bigger, because we do the actual technical work.
Mr. Chair, if I may, the reason I was supported the joint being jointly together is for the user, the client. What was going on was you guys were in one building, we were in the other, planning and zoning, and we're telling the client, well, now you got to go over to planning and zoning and talk about this, or vice versa, and it gives them a one-stop shop that they can go to and say, okay, I can talk to everybody right here in this one office. I think the discussion would be office space down the road. I would hope and that the board would continue to leave these two agencies together, because they have so much overlapping information that help each other guide you through the process. That was why I wanted everything together, because what we were doing early on was, when I first became a commissioner, it happened to be musical offices. So you had to, where's this office? Where's that office? Where do I go? And finally, I think we have everybody organized and together and say, okay, we're all in one space and we know where we're supposed to be and who we can ask the questions to. So I think what this board and your board is going to be tackled with is space down the road because of expansion, because of projects and everything else. But I think that's maybe where Commissioner Becker was going. But
and my next question was going to be, out in different meetings, whatever, I've heard the idea brought up of having regional soil and waters. Has that ever been a discussion?
I have not heard that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting.
You hear a lot more about shared services or shared positions across soil and water boundaries.
Yeah.
You know, maybe there's not a huge demand in one particular county, but across an area. But as for regional soil and water offices, no.
Yeah. And an example of what Adam might be referring to, and that's when we're talking about capacity and shared services, would be like a forester, like Lou Noska had moved over to that position. Well, there is a need for forestry in services in Todd County. Maybe we become, you know, for example, just an example, Lou becomes a shared service where he can cover more of Todd County than just that eastern border. So very similar to what Tim Ebnett is doing, nutrient management. And then there's less of a drain on, you know, all of us. It's trying to fill these little nicks and that sort of thing. We just unitedly fill a need.
Yeah.
But
like I said, I so appreciate the work that you guys do out there. Excellent. You do very well. I'd just like to have this conversation between the two boards once a year when we can discuss and see, you know, where our future lies.
right. And I appreciate that too, not realizing that that is a concern that we, if I'm understanding it correctly, that you're concerned that soil and water will overtake or absorb planning and zoning.
Well, I think we have to be careful that we do keep the two
Distinct.
distinct in some ways, and,
Yeah.
you know, that we don't, yeah.
Yeah. I think make a very good point there. And I can speak for our board when we say we're not really interested in the regulatory and enforcement type stuff. So,
well, if I may, that was a fear early on, that you were going to be taking on regulatory issues, because planning and zoning, that's their job. Your job is to help people with projects and funding and stuff like that. But that was a fear, because everybody was kind of attaching you to both. But I think that separation has been accomplished and recognized, and I think is in the past. So
that's our goal too. You know, even in the wetlands with the new position, we've kind of carved it out a little less even than it was in the past of enforcement, more conservation, and pushing that over to the county.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Chair, I do have a question. So how's the relationship been with the NRCS office out north of the fairgrounds? I mean, I'm assuming there's farmers that come in that have questions for water and soil, and then you gotta say, well, we can't answer that. You have to go out to the NRCS office where you guys were first located.
Yep, and that has been an issue for us. I'm going to be point blank honest, particularly when it comes to getting JAA for our staff, because in order to get JAA, we have to work with the NRCS. So a lot of times our staff is over there, or their staff now comes over to our building when we need to meet with a farmer, because we can't be the one-stop for farmers now. So, yeah. But the relationship is good. COVID put a little bit of a strain on it. The biggest issue with NRCS is they're severely understaffed. We do make up a lot of their technical work for them.
Any other questions? Comments? Thank you very much. Very nice.
All right, good.
Moving on,
Yep.
plan of action, you're up again.
Oh, boy. You sure you don't want to go? You can scroll. It is attached. So you know, and I'm only going to 3-sentence summarize this. Every year we come up with a plan of action. We have a big scope of duties of all that we do, and then we fine tune them down to the couple initiatives that you see here, and you can read them yourselves, of what we want to focus on. This year is really emphasizing partnerships. And so we have specific goals that we will report on back to you next year on what we did and how we met those goals. And if you look in your pamphlet here that I handed out to you on page 9 was last year's plan of action for SWCD, and the rest of the report answers how we did in each of those endeavors. It's up to the board at this point. It's been revised a couple times to reflect accuracy, and the staff has looked at it. If the board's happy, you can move forward.
Sure. So the next step is to actually approve the plan of action. Hear a motion to approve the plan of action 2022.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, for the Board of Commissioners, be looking for a motion to approve the 2022 SWCD Plan of Action.
So moved.
Motion by Kneisel,
Second.
second by Becker. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Information and requests.
Yep. So evidently we received this party, or the related party questionnaire for the audit.
It was sent, yep, in
from
the
our
mail.
auditors. Yep, I opened it up last night, as a matter of fact. And so it's just a reminder to complete that and have it in before February 14th.
Yep, and I will say I've received some heavy questioning on it. It's something that's brand new. I don't know if you guys got the same questionnaire.
We get questionnaires. I just got this morning, so I haven't even looked at it either.
Okay, so we're just wondering why the change, and I'll reach out, I guess, unless you want to the auditor and say, where is this coming from and why is this information necessary? Because we do have some questions on that. So any board member that's not comfortable submitting it at this time does not need to until we get those questions answered.
Okay.
I know them audits, they change every year, they make some changes, and so I don't know. But I don't know what questions they're asking you, but.
This year it really talks about your spouse and like what job they have, and we're just kind of wondering how detailed and where does this information go?
That on question 4, it's like, why would they need to know what your spouse does and where her place of employment is?
Yeah, so
It's very strange. So I'm kind of wondering if it's a blooper.
I'm hoping.
I thought it was very strange too.
Yeah.
So I will reach out to Doug.
I know
too
what
as
my
well.
wife would do with it.
Yeah. Right,
File 13.
right.
But it sure be a good, to know more about that.
Yeah.
It seems like a strange ask inside a financial audit.
Yeah.
Maybe for an independent audit, like a single person or, something small, but yeah, for this scenario,
Are
that's
they
not
looking for conflict of interest, or?
some of it.
So.
I think
Yeah.
so, yeah, related party things, and then I went crazy and I said, well, gee, a related party, what does the Minnesota statute say? And the Minnesota statutes say related party up to and including first cousins. So if you, I don't know, I think it's a little overreach, but
Yeah.
there is an auditorial reason why we need to do that in a governmental,
Right.
but we need more clarification. I just,
Kind of getting too deep into your personal.
yeah, it's, and
Yes.
besides that, we have conflict of interest built into our board, you do in your board.
Absolutely.
Those questions are already answered at every meeting, every set of minutes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay.
Okay.
And then item 5.2, just a reminder that we have the annual feedlot meeting and farmer appreciation dinner Thursday, March 17th at Central Lakes College, and it's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And the bonus is coffee and baked goods special begins at 9:30.
Yep,
Very
and
nice.
that's on the back page here for you. It will be publicly noticed, so anybody can, any of you or any of us can come.
Very good.
And the next action item is to adjourn the joint meeting. I don't know if we need a motion for that.
Probably.
Make a motion.
Not gonna hurt it.
Second.
Second that? So the meeting has been adjourned. Or all in favor, sorry. Aye. Opposed? Meeting has been adjourned.
Okay, and the Todd County Board of Commissioners will adjourn out of the joint meeting also and look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Newman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Kneisel. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. Thank you very much. Very
Thank
nice
you.
presentation.
Appreciate it.
Have a great day.
Thank you. All right. On to solid waste.
Good morning, Chair.
Morning.
So I'll just read the background here. This is for the CAP grant agreement. The Minnesota Pollution Control Agency selected Todd County to receive a grant for $4 million through the Solid Waste Processing Facilities Capital Assistance Program, or CAP grant. The grant is for construction of a new transfer station and household hazardous waste facility. The project budget includes approximately $1.5 million in county matching funds. The grant money is from the general obligation bond proceeds generated by the state of Minnesota. Todd County submitted a final grant application in March 2021. In January 2022, the state of Minnesota finalized their review and sent Todd County the attached grant agreement. In order to utilize the awarded funds, Todd County is required to accept the terms of the agreement and authorize approval of the grant agreement. The agreement is signed via an electronic approval process called DocuSign. It has been reviewed by Attorney Rasmussen. So this is just the formality of accepting that grant. It's a paperwork process. I don't even have DocuSign's version yet, but for that reason, I did prepare a resolution that essentially gives me the authority to go online and click on the DocuSign. If you would like it some other way, we can arrange it however you would like.
Feelings?
Mr. Chair, if I may, is that, and Chris, is that how it's handled in other counties, that you as a director sign, or is it their administrators or coordinators?
I've already been signing DocuSigns for you and Wadena and Ottertail for your SCORE grant. In previous years, SCORE grant is the recycling dollars you get from the state, and before they did nothing, but for the last 2 years, they've required that electronic click.
I was just wondering at the legal side of it, if we're committing our tax dollars, if we as a county board or our representative, the coordinator, had to sign for that.
Everything I've heard and seen is provided that you give me permission to click.
Not that I don't trust you, I'm just saying I want to make sure we're doing it the right way.
Yeah,
so.
and Chair, if you'd like, we could arrange a meeting and have things done that you click the button. We can do that too.
I don't think that's necessary. I just wanted to make sure we're doing it right. So.
Any other questions? Not, you see the board action as presented in regards to the authorize the solid waste director, Chris McCon, to electronically sign for the grant agreement, $4 million via DocuSign upon clarification of the grant schedule. Looking for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Kneisel. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Newman. Discussion.
So if
I
the money has
guess-
to be paid back, it's Chris that's responsible for it, huh?
Yeah. I think so.
If I could, Mr. Chair, I
Sure.
guess if you would need a second chair, second signature, then I would put it on the responsibility of the board chair.
Yeah, if you need two for some reason, that's fine.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
County Assessor.
Good morning.
Morning.
I am here this morning to request the scheduling of the 2022 County Board of Appeal and Equalization. I have the statute listed, which says that we cannot meet before the second Friday in June, and we have to be done by June 30th, and the meeting cannot end prior to 7 p.m. I have 8 dates listed there. Those are Monday through Thursdays, and the recommendation below states that it should probably start about 6, and that way we are guaranteed to go past that 7 o'clock ending time. So if there's any, we've typically done this on a Monday evening, although there's no necessity for that. This is just a convenience when it's most convenient for the boards to meet.
Any preferences, board members?
The 13th, we would have corrections, correct? The second Monday.
Yep.
13th?
Yeah, we would have corrections. How about the Tuesday, the 14th?
Flag Day doesn't matter. Tuesday, the 14th?
I'd make a motion Tuesday, the 14th, starting at 6.
Okay, we have a motion to pick June 14th, 6 p.m. for our, equalization, Board of Appeal and Equalization meeting. Is there a second?
Okay.
Second by Kircher. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Facilities.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning, Mitch.
I have one topic item here. It is the Annex 2 new roof. The background is the Facilities Committee is recommending replacement of the Annex 2 roof due to the age and condition. Bids were submitted with the lowest bid being from Roof 1 for a total of $81,529. The options are to approve the budgeted request to re-roof Annex 2 with a low bid from Roof 1 for a total of $81,529 or do not approve budget requests. The recommendation is to approve the budgeted request to re-roof Annex 2 with a low bid from Roof 1 for a total of $81,529.
Okay, you've seen or heard the board action in regards to approval of a bid for $81,529.
Could we have discussion, Mr. Chair?
Sure
Yeah,
can.
Just wanted to ask a question.
Yep.
Mitch, is there any other work that has to be done prior to the roofing, like any units or anything of that?
So what I have right now is we're bringing this. There is a little bit of a discrepancy. The timeline on the roofing product is fairly quick. If we get this approved this summer, this can take place. However, the equipment is an issue. The equipment is running anywhere. A standard rooftop unit, which is a smaller, anywhere from 2 to 10 ton unit, is 20 some weeks out. The particular rooftop that is on Annex 2 that does a majority of the cooling and air exchanging is a 24 ton unit. That is currently standing at 50 weeks until, so the timelines trying to make them match right now are just unrealistic. We'll go ahead, we'll re-roof the building if that's what the board chooses to do, and then we'll do the rooftop tops when it's available. It'll be on a total separate schedule. That's why they're different items that I'm bringing to board. I do have that out for bid currently, and I'm waiting for the amounts back. So, if that makes sense.
If I could, Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
I think also at our facilities meeting a week ago, whatever, the
Yep.
justice roof came up also, which is in
Yep,
really
it is. It
bad-
is in.
bad
It is.
condition, and which has not really been discussed too much, but
Yeah,
we did
so-
receive pictures of barrels of water.
Yeah, it is in very, all three roofs that are the flat roofs, Annex 1, which is already passed board, Annex 2, and the Justice Center roof, which are the flat roofs, are all in need of replacement. In the replacement cost, however, the Justice Center roof is clearly a lot more complex and a lot more complicated when it comes to re-roofing, therefore adds a lot more cost. With that being said, we are in the process and following the steps of our 25-year plan. We're starting with the Annex 1 and 2, and we do have options with funds available coming up in the next year where we can look at the Justice Center when we've already started that process to look at the Justice Center and what that cost really reflects and where we're going to go with that cost.
Mr. Chair, my question, the reason I'm asking
Yep.
the question is, how much damage will we do to the new roof putting the units on?
There shouldn't be any more damage. The curbs for the new rooftop units they usually basically use like a carrier platform, which means they make them the same dimensions for pretty much all rooftops. So we won't do any more damage or damage the roof at all by putting this on. They also take safety precautions and usually put down mats to ensure that they don't damage the new product.
Is there catwalks up there?
What's that?
Is there catwalks up there?
There's either catwalks or there's rubber matting that's laid so you can walk in particular spots. A lot of the flat roof application, we don't really need to worry about that. That's the other reason we're going to a fully adhered roof. If something like that were to occur at the current rock ballast state that we have, you can't see if you drop nails or rocks, or I shouldn't say rocks, but nails or any type of screw or anything. With a fully adhered roof, you can see what's on the roof. So then if they happen to damage it, we can hold them accountable for it at that time.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I got a question.
Absolutely.
Was that roof done in 2006?
No, that roof is over the 25-year life expectancy. A portion of the roof, the lobby area, was done in 2012, I believe it was, and one of the older portions, or one of the newer portions, is actually the older portion of the building. That was done within the last 10 to 15 years. The problem that you run into with some of these roofs is cost effectiveness. If we don't do some of them now, we really run into we're getting gouged by doing such a small roof. That's usually what happens. So a lot of the roofing companies or the people that I've talked to say if you're going to do it, they would much rather do a larger chunk than they would a smaller portion. So therefore, we may up the process a little bit quicker on some of the other roofs just due to the cost effectiveness.
Because when I got first elected, we had a phone call where we had water. It was like a river running down the steps.
Yeah.
And I mean, they had to take all the panels out, all that stuff.
It is, the roofs have been a problem since I've been here, 4 or 5 years ago when I started. And we've been patching them and trying to keep up with items as far as fixing them to try and minimize damage. But truthfully, the best way is to fully replace, fully adhere. The other thing that I like about a fully adhered roof from a maintenance side is now I can see something. With a rock ballast, we scrape the rock ballast back all the time to try and find something, and you might be scraping rocks for an hour to actually find the leak. Where when you go to a fully adhered roof, we go up there, you can see the actual damage, so we can repair things quicker, more efficiently, and just do a better job in general of maintaining the roof.
Mitch, do you have to order that equipment now so you get it in 50 weeks? Or?
I will, as soon as I get the bids back, we will be on that process as soon as possible. Even the individuals, companies that have bid this, they're hounding me the opposite way. Like, when are you gonna know? When are you gonna know? Because as soon as we pull the trigger on that, we need to I need to give them the okay to order it because it's still a process for anything. Manufacturing it's a problem right now, no matter what it is. You know, it's just unfortunate. It's unfortunate right now, but that is reality, and you know, we just go forward with our plan and accept what we have to do. We have the money allocated now. We've got the funds available, and we just allocate those funds and move our way through it. So,
If I may too.
Yep.
If we approve it today, when would they start on the roof?
So this would happen this summer, summer/fall sometime is what both companies have indicated that they can do for me. Because we're coming in first part of February, they're going to have a timeline. Now that doesn't mean that it won't change, okay? But as of right now, they were pretty confident that they could make it happen this summer or fall time. And ideally, we like to do it in a timeline where there's a few things that play into it. We don't want it to be too hot. It's nice if it's a decent type of weather. All right.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
The court, is it still leaking in the?
It is. We have fixed the major roof leak that did happen in the past couple weeks here. We did fix it. It is that particular building and all of them in general. We have fixed or will fix as they occur. The other thing is we know there's some certain spots, and we'll try and scrape the snow away from those certain individual spots to try and minimize, the infiltration of water and those type of things.
Was it in the law library?
This particular one was down on the court administration side, down towards, I call it the north end. Thankfully, it wasn't over anybody's desk or anything like that. It is a troublesome area. Some of the areas and the locations are just troublesome spots regardless of what we do because of the makeup of the roof. So therefore, with that roof going forward, if we do get a plan, we're going to try and minimize those areas and redo some of that to make it more effective, the roof itself. So
I guess my only concern with approving of this, I just don't want to forget about the Justice Center roof.
Yep,
I would like to see that come right along with the other roofs. Why would we be remodeling on the inside when we're leaking on the outside?
Correct. Yep, we will definitely bring that as soon as possible and as quick as we can to board. There's a lot more complication on the Justice Center roof in comparison to these other roofs. There's exposed ductwork. There's a lot of variables on the Justice Center roof. The biggest thing on that roof in particular, when we do that, there's a lot of equipment that needs to be removed. And then when we remove that equipment, I think there's better options personally from my professional standpoint that we can do things differently with our heating and cooling equipment to help the roof system out. And that's why we want to make sure we dot some I's and cross some T's on that particular roof, especially. So that's why it's complicated. It definitely is, and we're getting a professional help on it, I think, as well. I think that's something that we should definitely look into on that particular roof. So,
any other questions?
I just have one comment. It's
Yep.
just interesting that this building was built in 1883, and the roof. We haven't had any issues with it, knock on wood. But
when you exactly that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's a little bit, a flat roof in Minnesota, right? I mean, it's just not the best practice. It is something in the industry world of the commercial end. It's very common. It's just we have to deal with what we have, So we're gonna try and make it better. And there's better solutions right now out there for these flat roofs, and that's something that's continuing to get better. So we'll take it one step at a time and try and make things make effective decisions for the county.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? If not, I would look for a motion to approve the bid of $81,529 to Roof One for the re-roofing of Annex 2.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Becker. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Kircher. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Public Works.
Good morning.
Morning, Lauren.
Our first item on the agenda this morning is a request for approval to create an Adopt a Highway program, and I'll read the background quickly here. At our fall 2021 road meeting, the topic of creating an Adopt a Highway came up. We had a good discussion on that. After that, I put together some information after some research and brought it to the board here 2 weeks ago at the work session on January 18, 2022 to discuss it. Based on that discussion, I put together this board action form approving the creation of Adopt a Highway program, and I think I have the application behind it. So with that, I guess our options are to approve the creation of the Adopt a Highway program, or do not approve the creation of Adopt a Highway program. And our recommendation is to approve the creation of Adopt a Highway program as seen here.
Okay, you've heard the board action in regards to adopting the Adopt a Highway program. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Newman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Kneisel. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Great, and I'll just note we'll put that on our website and request MIS to help us put that on our Facebook and kind of make a little note on there so people are aware of it. Our second option, believe it or not, is a request to set our spring road meeting. I realize it doesn't feel like spring out there today, but it is coming, hopefully. So our options, I gave some dates for the board to consider in April. They're listed there. Our options are to set a road meeting or not one. Our recommendation to set a road meeting at dates that are available of the full board.
Monday the 4th.
That sounds good. Monday the 4th?
Work. Okay. And we need a motion for that, is that correct? Motion to set the Spring Road meeting for April 4th.
So moved.
Motion by Kneisel. Is there a second? Second by Kircher. Discussion.
If I may, Mr. Chair, there is a note or a line in there as to the location. In years past, we have had it at the Northern Shop in the spring. We have had it at our Long Prairie Shop, or we have had it here. So we will have it wherever the board would like.
I'm open. I don't care.
I don't care. Northern Shop, I don't know.
We can alternate. Northern Shop,
We sure can have it there, absolutely.
9 a.m. Any more discussion? Not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you, Lauren.
All right, thank you.
County Sheriff.
Good morning, all.
Good morning.
Morning.
Got one item up for bid today, and it is the 2023 or 2022-23 Snowmobile Safety Enforcement Grant. Background is to approve and sign the 22-23 Snowmobile Safety Enforcement Grant in the amount of $8,804. Options are to approve it or to not to approve it, and recommendation obviously is to approve and sign the 2022-23 Snowmobile Safety Enforcement Grant in the amount of $8,804.
Okay, you've seen the board action in regards to the approval of a grant received for $8,804 for snowmobile safety enforcement grant. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Newman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Becker. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Administration. Auditor Treasurer.
Mr. Chair, I have a board action this morning and a resolution for the 2022 HAVA grant application through the Office of Minnesota Secretary of State. The background on this is the Office of Minnesota Secretary of State is currently soliciting applications from jurisdictions for grants to purchase voting equipment through the federal Help America Vote Act, or the HAVA grant. Todd County is eligible to apply and receive $25,419.13 in funding through this grant to be used to improve accessibility to, implement security improvements for, election systems for, and/or fund other activities to improve the security of federal elections. The Chief Elections Officer of Todd County has delegated authority to execute the grant agreement, and Todd County has met all preliminary requirements to participate in the grant agreement. And the options are to approve the 2022 HAVA grant application through Minnesota Office of Secretary of State, delegating authority to the Todd County Auditor Treasurer, Chief Elections Officer to delegate the grant agreement, execute the grant agreement, or to not approve, and the recommendation is to approve.
Okay, you've seen the board action in regards to approving the grant application for the HAVA grant.
Can we have discussion first?
Sure.
Every year, or every time we have an election, they're sending money or want us to get money to improve something. What are we continue to improve?
This is not going to go towards our machine. This is actually going to, we've been working with the MIS department. This is actually based around security. And so working with MIS to make internet, everything secure in election world, whether it be safeguarding our election room and locking it with a key fob. So a lot of this grant money is not actually going for election equipment per se, like it did in the past. It's going, working with MIS and our IT
We
department.
need 25,000 to make a key for a door and do some other stuff. What, is there matching funds here? Do we have to kick in anybody? We do spend time on this.
Mr. Chair, if I can just answer a couple of those questions, Commissioner Kircher. This grant allows us to provide security for elections, but it's a broader scope, and if we want to enhance our security county-wide network, maybe our wireless access points, door security, network security, this gives us an opportunity to do that with these funds, as long as we also can impact the security of elections. So it's a great opportunity for us to enhance security countywide.
Have we had security issues in the past?
We do not. This allows us to not tap into just regular county dollars when we want to do upgrades to our equipment. It's a really good opportunity.
Well, it seems like every election, we're gonna send us some money to do this, do that, because we think we're doing it wrong all the time, and we're not. We've never had any issues in Todd County, as far as I'm concerned, or know of. I've been on canvassing boards and whatever else. I don't know, I just don't understand this money. Where's it coming from?
The feds are producing this grant money, running it through the state.
Yeah.
So of course they wanted to ramp it up for the federal election of 2022.
Right.
So there are no matching funds required for this, and this does allow us, if we have like our wireless system that might be aging, and we would be coming before the board to maybe budget that for next year or the following year, this gives us an opportunity to use those funds, because elections also passes through that network.
Well, to me, it implies that we have security problems, and that's what I don't like. And I'm getting tired of taking money all the time to improve something or do something. That's just me, but.
So just to answer that, we do not have security problems. We have a great opportunity to utilize funds other than county dollars.
That's fine.
Okay.
Any other discussion? If not, I would look for a motion to approve the HAVA grant for the amount presented in the board action, $25,419.13.
So move.
Motion by Becker. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Newman. Discussion, any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Carried.
Thank you.
Standing reports, Auditor Treasurer.
A couple items I wanted to make the board aware of. Precinct caucuses that will be held today. Visit the county website for a direct link to find a location for your residency. The Secretary of State Office website for 2022 caucus location can also be found at caucusfinder.sos.state.mn.us. And absentee voting for the 21 Todd County Townships opens this Friday, February 4th, and if you're interested in an absentee ballot for those elections, you need to contact your township clerk.
Okay, anything else? Otherwise, commissioners?
I'll give a report on the ice jam, or whatever the hell it was called. I wasn't there. I didn't make it. I was still COVID, whatever you call it. But I did ask for attendance numbers and stuff, and they didn't have all. It must have been over 900 people. And they had 90 some vehicles smashing up. So it was. They're already talking about doing it again next year. But, yeah. And thank you guys for voting to cover that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it sounded, I had heard from the community it was well attended. I also was not there, but it did sound like it was well attended and
It was colder than what they
well-received.
said it was gonna be that day too. It was
Yep,
supposed to get in the teens, but it was only single digits or something, but, yeah.
yep. Anyone else?
Chair,
Yes.
just to comment on that derby, Lou from the chamber has some great pictures out there of people walking in with their little buddy heaters, and so I thought as cold too as it was. I'm like, oh, they're not gonna have, but they had a stand full, so good for them.
Good.
Yes, Mr. Chair, if I
Yep.
could, and I don't quite know what's the new regulations or whatever, but we got letters from two of the people who will be running, and one of the letters had a comment on the bottom of it, and I would greatly appreciate it, to consider keeping the positions of Todd County elected positions elected as we currently have it. It's a extremely well way that all staff at this time. And I guess I was a little bit shocked to read that they would not remain elected. So I'm absolutely would like to express my opinion that I hope that auditor, treasurer, recorder would remain a elected position and not a appointed position. So I just want to voice my opinion that they hopefully remain elected.
All right, anyone else? Yes?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I want to thank our MIS department for helping the Sauk River Watershed with their IT selection. Our staff was kind enough to borrow some technology down there so we could do some Zoom meetings, which they never had before. So I just want to say hats off to our MIS department for doing that. The other thing is, I would like to thank our county attorney's office for having an individual in here today, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and I had received a thank you here from the Hilltop Regional Kitchen in Eagle Bend. I'll just read it out loud. Giving is not just about making a donation, it is about making a difference. Thank you for making a difference in the lives of those who are in need of good nutrition. County Commissioners and Public Health, thank you so much for your ongoing support for the Hilltop Regional Kitchen, and especially the rural seniors who are in need for these programs. We can't do the important work without support like yours. Signed by Rick Hest, President.
Mr. Chair, if I may add to Commissioner Newman's comment, and ask John, who's in the back from the county attorney's office, is this going to be a standard procedure?
Yes.
And I've made recommendations before that if the county attorney was going to send representation, that we, instead of making them sit in the back row, give them some seating in the boardroom. And if that's possible, I'd like to do that.
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Kircher, we absolutely can arrange that. We just have not had like a formal notification from our county attorney that it wouldn't be nice to hear directly from the county attorney on John's presence.
Okay, that's just my suggestion. I think it's more professional, and make John sit in the back of the room like his not part of. He should be part of if he's going to be a part of this group. So.
Okay, County Coordinator?
Yep, I just have one update. I sent you information regarding the AMC Legislative Conference, so if you could just take a moment and maybe reply back to me whether or not you'd be attending. That is March 2nd and 3rd, and that will be held at St. Paul Intercontinental Hotel.
St. Paul?
Yes.
Okay.
That's it. Thank you.
Well, I understood that you can't even go into Capitol. You have to have appointments or something and be let in or something. I don't know if they let groups in or not, but.
I think the agenda said that there would be appointments made.
I think the House is closed.
The House is closed.
And the Senate is, got, the hybrid.
Okay. That's it. We will recess until the 15th.
John, you got tickets for it?
And we'll take a 4 or 5 minute break, and then we'll start our work session. Work session. Time is 10:21, February 1st, 2022. First on the agenda is discussion of personnel policy, section 701, insurance.
The Policies Committee brings forward a recommended change to the insurance section of our personnel policies. There's a couple typos in there that we're correcting, and then the changes, the amount contributed to the MSRS HCSP for ongoing employees. This is something that the board had wanted negotiated. The union contracts that have settled have agreed to this, and we're proposing it also changes for non-exempt employees. Any questions?
Questions, concerns? Otherwise, I think it would be brought forward at the next board meeting, correct?
Yes. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Jackie.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. So we are just bringing forth a policy as we are. Oh, thank you. We are still under the CMS guidelines of needing a vaccination status for our employees in Health and Human Services because we do receive Medicare funds. So in front of you, we shared a policy and shared it with staff last week as to the things that we need from them around vaccination status.
So this affects 20 Todd County employees and 4 contracted staff. And Jackie and her staff have done an excellent job of putting this policy together. They've put a lot of time into this. Sarah in HR has been collecting information as it is coming in. We are working very closely with our staff to make sure that we are meeting compliance and answering any questions that they might have regarding any exemption statuses or just questions overall with the policy. But Jackie has done a great job of narrowing down the number of staff that this affects and just really helping all of us understand what the rules of the mandate are. And we wanted to just bring this forward following that discussion we had regarding when we were looking at the OSHA, which now has been put in a stay, and this one, the CMS continues on. But the request of the board was that we keep you informed of the process as we go through it.
Question, Mr. Chair?
Yes.
So this has been implemented already?
It has been shared with staff, yes.
Okay, but it says effective date 1/27, so it's going to be retro?
That's the date we wrote it and put it out to staff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then my other question is, how long is this policy going to continue? Is there, is this a indefinite policy or is it a definite
Jackie,
policy?
I thought it was a 6-month.
Right. You know, as long as we're dealing with that COVID-19 pandemic, this is how long this policy is going to be implemented. And then we'll receive the guidance from CMS as time passes and we work through the pandemic. How long? I wish I had that concrete answer, but this is what we have today.
And when you read through the policy, there are some dates in there that state if you have an exemption, that exemption would be renewed annually.
I read that.
Yeah. But I also understood, and Jackie, maybe you can help clarify this, but I also understood that the ETS, is it now a final? But the ETS was a 6-month.
Right. Right.
So what if things change in 2 months?
We could definitely look at the policy to see, as long as we're following the CMS guidelines, that's really what my goal is.
Right.
As we have MDH come in and do an audit on our home care program to offer us the license to do the service. So if they change, we'll adapt to that.
And when the surveyors come in and actually do the auditing of this, they're going to look to make sure that we have a policy in place. That's why the policy is created. They're going to look to see, do we have our records taken care of for this? They're going to look to see, did we follow a process for the exemptions? They're not going to specifically look at the individual exemption forms, but they're going to look at the process that we've implemented to collect those. And what process have we gone through?
Mr. Chair, that was going to be my next question about records, and does this go into the staff's personnel files at HR or separate records, or?
It's a separate confidential medical record that is retained by HR. It's not in their personnel file.
And the employee transmits from what they fill out to HR or to their supervisor, or only
to HR.
Okay, then how does HR communicate to the administrator executive of the department?
I will communicate whether somebody is in compliance or out of compliance at the time that's decided.
Okay.
If I could have a follow-up question, would it be easier for Jackie to retain the files as department head? Being we're only talking one department, correct?
I understand Jackie is HIPAA compliant. You want to be, my history with HIPAA is you don't want too many people exposed to employees' confidential medical records.
But if Jackie, it would, I mean.
Yep, understood.
It would take out.
It would take me out of the
yeah,
situation. I wouldn't be exposed
you know,
to
but
that.
it would maintain it in that department solely. Because that's the only department we're talking about, correct?
I'll say I'm glad it is Sarah in the HR department, because we just want to be sure that we're meeting client needs, and then Sarah is really ensuring that the employee files are kept confidential and are at a spot to where they need to be in HR.
I think it's a nice layer of separation, too.
It really is.
Yep.
And that's a good point, but my question was, you know, separate files are in their personnel file because, you know, down the road, if somebody wants to have access to somebody's personnel file, then that's in there. So your medical records are kept separate in anybody's personnel file?
Yeah, they are not in the personnel file.
Okay. See, and that's an issue with the department head, because some of them don't even know the rules of HIPAA and everything else. It's complicated, so I think that's, well, I know that's why we have HR. So I agree with the HR deal. I'm just making sure we're not violating any HIPAA rules or anything else, and thank you for staying on top of that, but.
I think when you think about it, family medical leave requests come through HR, and I am exposed to other employees' medical information when those family medical leave requests come through. So it made sense to just keep it in HR.
What will happen to this paperwork eventually? Will it be destroyed, or will it be kept forever?
Once this mandate is done, it will all be destroyed.
Okay.
We will make it very, record retention is very important to me. Whether we keep it or don't keep it, there's a line, and it will be destroyed.
Any other questions?
Yeah, and what are we doing with new hirees?
The ones who fall under CMS will need to be in compliance.
Is that, do you, at the time of interviews, and are you doing that, or orientation? You have to be, these are what we require, and.
Currently, we're not interviewing anybody under this mandate, but when we do, we will make it part of the interview process.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I just hope that nobody gets harassed for not being vaccinated.
They will not from us.
We are working.
Yeah.
Please trust that we are working very closely with staff to make sure they understand the policy and understand what options they have with the policy.
And Commissioner Newman, I agree with you 100%, but my concern was also that they may lose their job over this, and that's not what I want to see.
No.
Agree.
And not that misery loves company, but this is very typical of all healthcare settings at this point. This is not anything new in a healthcare world today.
I want to see employees lose their job because of this stuff.
Any other questions? Otherwise, you'll be bringing this forward at the...
This is a departmental policy, so we don't need to bring, this is an awareness.
Okay. All right. Everybody good? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Thus will end the work session for Tuesday, February 1st.